Whether you fly a quad, a wing, or something else, the unmanned aerial vehicle is just one component of your unmanned aerial system. If you fly first-person view, then there are FPV components in addition to the basic line-of-sight system. So let's talk about a line-of-sight quad or wing system. To begin with, you're at the center of the UAS. You might be formally known as the pilot in charge, or PIC. Nothing happens until you make it happen, and safety starts with you. For line of sight, you'll be watching the UAV from the ground and having to maintain your orientation relative to the UAV flight path. Note that flying lessons are not part of this DRS clinic. However, if you're a novice quad pilot, we would strongly encourage you to develop your most fundamental piloting skills with either a Hubsan X4 or Blade Nano QX quadcopter. Your initial investment in a total UAS can be well under $100, and you'll have a practical hands-on understanding of how to control a UAV before you get into greater cost and complexity. Another way to safely develop your skills is to practice with a flight simulator. We recommend FPV Freerider for quads and RealFlight for wings. The RealFlight controller is very realistic, and it can be used with either simulator. RealFlight 7.5 includes an Electrofly Slinger wing simulator. Of course, you can also fly many other simulated RC aircraft using RealFlight. Your DRS UAS will include an RC radio transmitter, but the transmitter is not included in the DRS kit. However, our kits are specifically for use with Spectrum communication protocols. So two options are to purchase a Spectrum transmitter or a FrSky transmitter with a Spectrum module. I'd encourage you to keep things simple at first by purchasing a Spectrum transmitter. You can start with the Spectrum DX6i or preferably the DX6 if you can handle the extra cost. Most competition FPV pilots use FrSky transmitters, but you won't need one until you get well along up the learning curve. If you move to FrSky later on, just get the Spectrum module and you won't have to abandon or change any of your DRS UAS. Just bind and fly with the new transmitter module. Your DRS UAS will also need flight batteries and charging equipment. DRS kits do not include batteries or charging equipment. You'll need to purchase those separately. There are many options, but we recommend Lumineer brand batteries. The exact batteries you need will depend on the kit you buy. The information will be included with the kit. You'll need to spend some time reading up on lithium polymer or LiPo batteries in addition to taking this clinic. You'll need more than one or two batteries if you intend to do a lot of flying. The IMAX B6AC was my first charger, and I still use it today. There are accessories to allow charging more than one battery at once. Again, you'll need to study up on that outside the clinic. In addition to the line-of-sight system, you'll need a pair of 5.8 GHz FPV goggles if you intend to fly FPV. Honestly, FPV adds so much to the sport. You should figure on being an FPV pilot before you get very far down the road. Many FPV pilots use Fat Shark goggles. I'm a fan of the Sky Zone brand. Buy the best goggles you can afford. Take your time and consider the various features. You might as well get used to taking on research projects because this sport is constantly changing. The DRS kit will include the FPV components that are on the unmanned aerial vehicle. When you start out with either the DRS 170T quad or the DRS Wing 1 wing, you will also need a right-hand circular polarized or RCP antenna for your goggles. Mushroom antennas have a protective plastic shell, which is good to have. Be sure it has an integrated right angle adapter. Together, the antenna on your goggles and the antenna on your UAV are a matched antenna set. They both need to be RCP to match. Be sure to get a connector that matches your goggles, either SMA or RP SMA. Most goggles have SMA connectors. If you're flying a quad, you will need to have extra props on hand. It's quite common to lose a prop or two in a crash. If you're flying aggressively to push your skills to the limit, you'll go through a lot of props. The kit will include information on which props to buy.